the composition you guys are running here is like on a control map, they always have to touch the point, right? So you are applying pressure from the coast side and from the point. So your point composition is a Doomfist, Brig, and Ryan. You can obviously see that this is a Brawl comp, right? But you don't want to like push onto them, right? You want to bait them to the point, right? So it's okay if you guys just like, you know, go sit in the back room, because I mean, what's your Doomfist gonna do? Like shoot like a few ineffective shotgun bullets for crossing up, right? He doesn't really do anything, so you just want to chill here until they touch the point, because they ultimately have to touch, right? And you want to preserve your Ryan shield, right? So you just want to play back there, and you'll be fine. So over here, right, their comp cannot physically burn down a Roadhog pre-Ana here, right? Because if they engage on your Hog too aggressively, your pre-punishes. If they don't, then, well, eventually they have to rotate to the point, right? Like, you're forcing them to reposition, because if they don't touch, you cap, right? If they push you over here, you guys just back, right? They don't have a Lucio, so you guys walk at the same speed, so there's no, like, real threat. So Tab's job here should be to hold this space for his team, right? Just, like, draw attention here, so you either get a free cap, or they focus resources into your Roadhog, which is actually one of the few tanks in the game that like really actually wants that to happen, in the sense that you're helping your Ana charge her ulti, right? You are pressuring shields with McCree, so McCree should constantly be fanning those shields to break it, right? And Ana should be focusing heals into the Hog. You don't want to divert resources on the point right now. You want to wait till it unlocks, so not peeking, right? And the whole goal here is to help your Roadhog charge his whole Hog, because if he takes damage, he gets like 20% of his ulti by healing. So it's great if he takes 300 damage right there, right? Alright, so the problem with what happens here is, I think you guys are peeking too much on the point. You don't want to peek, so you want to sit, right? So Tab, right? He wants to hold this space, right? Because the moment those shields go away, what can you do? You just walk up here and hook anybody, right? Pull him right into your McCree and your Ana. That's like a guaranteed kill, because all three of you guys have CC. If you notice, right, your CC comp is on this side. You have Sleep, Stun, and Hook. And your Ball comp is on that side. Everyone wants to be close. So there's synergy between your fronts, right? So when they go to the point, your Hog is here. He threatens anybody on this side. And so does your McCree, right? Because, like, you either have to focus point or you have to focus side, right? So Tab needs to go up here, hold the space, and start looking for a hook, right? Like when Sigma's eating. That's the perfect time to hook him, right? But you guys are playing too passive over here, so you're not taking pressure off the point side, which is a little bit problematic, right? And you never want to walk across this ledge. This happens a lot, actually. Like in every single scrim you guys play on this map, you guys walk across this ledge, right? And you get yoinked into the hole, or sometimes Lucio the wall rides above you, it just pushes you in, right? But there should never be any crossing between here to the point, unless you're going to contest it, right? So like you already own it, you've lost your entire Brawl comp on point, right? Then you need to go and touch. And that happens, I believe, once, and Fake and Envy are the ones that cross. But barring that, like, there's no benefit for Tab, like, hovering there. So what's going on right now is you guys are pushing this side, which is good. So it's okay for Fake to stay here. Envy and Tab should push up to about here, which is good, and pressure their tanks. Team in the room, see what your team over here is doing. Aggress out onto this area here, right? Because they can't focus damage onto you right here, right? So you get free swing. And Fake is in a perfect position to heal here or pivot to heal here. But you notice that these two have good sustain in the sense that the Mega belongs to Envy, so he can just go back and get healed any time, and Hog heals himself, right? So Adam wants to continuously proc his Inspire on Greg here, because then he will be able to sustain the point team without the help of Fake if it comes to walking through shield. It's solid. When you go through shields, you have to back out through the shields when you need heals too, yeah? When you play against double shield, you have to be very mindful. So I believe that Adam overextended here because he has to always be behind solid, and Pichu, like, the furthest you guys go is right here, right? Because this is the maximum that Fake can see from his perspective to right here, right? Do you never want to go like around this corner at all, right? Because then you don't get heals, And Peachy, you want to hold punch in and then engage out. Yes?
Is it normal to like turn around, even as a Rein, to see where the Ana is?
Well, you can hold your shield and then you can like turn around while holding your shield towards front, you know?
Yeah, okay.
So like you always see if your team's done crossing through a choke when you're holding shields. You're not like dropping the shield and turning around to look, right? You're like using the double mouse button so you can turn around while holding your shield towards front. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So that's what I do. So Peachy, you want to engage with punch, right? Onto somebody that's not the Orisa because she has Fortify, right? So you just want to like be behind your Rein shield, he's swinging, play behind your Rein, right? And then Adam will slap like 3 packs of armor on you, and he'll like go in for a swing or two with solid, right? And then you want to engage with punch, and then uppercut up, and then like slam out, right? Because you're low ground to high ground, so you don't use your slam at all. You use your slam to disengage. Because you're on the high ground now, you engage outwards, like back to your team, right? With your E. So don't stay in too long, because the whole goal is to just pressure, right? Because like if you hit someone against a wall, like it's literally 2 feet to the wall, right? And then you just back off and you wait. So you guys are like overextending pretty heavily here, which is why you are not in a very good position, right? Because Solid is down a spot without break. Adam overextended first, now Solid's overextending, right? Peachy's in the right spot, but like obviously the shield is going to block all healing, and then the actual terrain is going to block all healing too. So over on this side, there's no way that your Hog and your Kree should lose this fight, right? So we can go back and look at what happened, but I'm pretty sure that...
I think I forgot to heal our Kree here. I kept forgetting to do that.
Yeah, so just
Everyone get on the objective.
try to carry them a little bit more. It's fun. But yeah, they own the point here, so stop touching unless you think you can win. It's a big anti by Fake here, though, I think.
You're powered up. Get in there.
So mind your sightlines here, Fake. You just saw the Widowmaker from that
Yeah.
side, right? You have to take
that's
2
why I
steps
ducked
back.
into the left a little bit more. And then the
So-
shield came out.
Tab needs to play away from the ledge a little bit. Envy, you gotta like make sure you know that Mushroom is coming for you. I think it's the Echo. Yes, you didn't know she was coming because you weren't looking, right? You focused on a 3v1 on the Sigcom point, right? And so you die for that, and Fake might die for that too. A
No.
bit more awareness.
Yeah, fortunately, Pichu pushed up enough that the Echo didn't try to fight me.
Yeah, so like obviously that was kind of a misplay because if Tab is on the point, Envy, you have to control this side for your team, right? Because like if you're like playing right here, you definitely see the Echo coming, right? But she got like a full sticky on you, so you're probably not moving enough as well. So you want to play back here because you know you're down your free. So back to point, you also know you're down your break. Right? So Tab's going back to take control of that, which is good. And your Kree is coming back too. So you always want to be looking to threaten people with like your hook or your stuns on the left side, right? So even holding hook is pretty valuable. So Solid.
Shatter was a bit of a pain.
You never cross this gap, both Pichu and Solid, right? Because there's no reason to, right? They're not contesting you on point, you just back off into the room. You chill, right? Because you can't do anything if you don't want to go in to try and brawl them. You want them to come brawl you, because the space on the point is a lot more favorable to you than the side, right? Because, like, once they're in the point area, you can boot them with your flail on Adam. Pichu can touch people into walls. Solid, they're all within your swinging distance. And remember, if they engage on you, your Ana has free anti, right? Your Hog has free hook, your Kree gets free shots into the side of their head, right? So, like, you're not trying to take pressure off of your side team. Your side team is trying to take pressure off the brawl team. Okay. So, aptly, this will be the stun, and that will be the brawl. Okay. So right here, Tab needs to back off. Not that way. At a higher level, every single time you see someone on that ledge, and Orisa will pull them off. like every single time. Like they actually legitimately just look for it. So when you guys extended into the backline, you gave them a free opportunity to engage on you. So unfortunate, you'd probably lose the point because of it. But luckily, their overall thing, like they just got their Echo ulti and I believe Valkyrie for nothing. Okay, so let's talk about what happens right here. Okay. So your Roadhog and your Doomfist went right. But what was the point of sending your Roadhog and Doomfist right? Right? Because, like, they ultimately want to end up on the far left, right? So, like, putting them on this side doesn't really make any sense. And going for this flank as two when you have no access to healing makes no sense either, right? Especially because, like, half your team isn't even here. Your Brig is here and your Kree is spawn, right? Like, you want to group as 6 and then, like, pick a side and push out. Probably not left. Probably want to push out right hand side. So you get your Brawl team, like, right in their face, right? And you get your stun team over here, right?
Would this been okay if the timing was better? Like, when right when our team started engaging? Because I was looking for a hook on like a backline or something.
Because you could have gone over here and looked for a hook on their backline over here, right? Because if you had gone out left side, you immediately secure like half the control of the map as Roadhog, right? And the Sigma has to turn and address you, right? Which means there's only one single shield in the front. So like imagine this, like if the Roadhog comes out this way with the Kree, you're immediately shooting their backline, right? The Ana can go with the main team. It doesn't really matter because Ana rotates around wherever, right? And like Solid gets into their face right here, right? But he's not even afraid of the Sigma because you took the Sigma off him, right? So like the off tanks end up on the far side and the main tanks end up here. But in a main tank battle, Ryan via Orisa, Ryan walks right over Orisa without a Sigma beside her, right? And not only that, but like the Brig goes with him and the Doomfist. So like the Doomfist likes this area, right? Because he can punch anybody into any wall in this area, right? So it makes sense for your Brawl team to end up over here and your Stun team to still end up over there, regardless, right? Because even if you're not like able to like throw a flashbang at them, a hook will definitely get this McCree, right? We'll definitely clear the Echo off of that side with a Hog and McCree. But you're not 6, so don't engage without having 6. Yeah, you guys kind of like heavily staggered yourself here. I would not have committed Rally and Nano like that. Because, you're already down 2, right? So that's like a real misplay on both ultimates my sports right there.
That was a call from our fight planner for the Nano.
Yeah, but it's like definitely too late at that point. I think it was Tab Fight calling that day. This is... Oh, no wait, this was Solid, right? I'm sure it was Solid. This was like the last scrim of the last map. Or last map of the last scrim. But yeah, now you're like 4v5 or something. Adam went across the gap for no reason, even though he wants to be on point. You guys are fighting and ulting, but it's very sloppy, you know? Because, like, you're never in a 6-on-6. You're not even sure how many people are alive. You're just winning because your ults are better, right? But, like, none of your ults make any sense whatsoever. Like, Pichu here is committing his Doomfist ulti, but, like, half his team is, like, not even there in the fight. It's literally just, like, both DPS versus their whole team right now. And Fake in the back providing some heals, right? Like, that's probably not very good. I would say you won this point because you got lucky, and not because you guys coordinated as a team.
Okay.
Like, we're not really playing our team camp properly. At the start we were, because we had like 2 sides of 3 people. But then when it's chaotic and you guys are just like flanking, not really setting up properly, then it would be better to get like a different team camp because you guys are not playing this team camp correctly. Just make sure you guys default to your positions every time. Hog and Doom don't go for like a flank. Just make sure you default to your positions so you have like a pressure point as in a Kree Hog and your Brawl team on points. Just always default to that.
And you always want to take control of the same sides because like, even if you were to take control of this side, right, you're not very effective on this side as Hog Kree, right, as you would be on that side. It's just a matter of like play to your strengths as a character and as a team. So it's good that you guys are staying in the small room now. Tab blocked off the map. We don't talk about that. So the problem with tab blocking off the map here is all the pressure is now on the two squishies over here, right? And so you guys are kind of stuck. And it's understandable if you lose the point here because there's nothing you can really do. I mean, they took the whole map, right? They boxed you into the small room because you didn't have 2 players on your team. It was like a 64, so. So, like, that's all I really have to say about this map in general. You guys just have to, like, play it a little bit better, you know? Play in the spots you're supposed to play. And play with your group properly. So Fake, remember that the Kree and the Hog are part of your group, and they're more your responsibility than the Ryan is, right? I'm not saying don't look at your Ryan to heal him, but like, he does have the equivalent of a constant mercy pocket with the Brig at 60 HPS.
So I want you guys to like that specific map around. I want you to think of it as like area as well. You don't really around the ledges because at any moment you can get pulled off or hooked by Hog or Orisa. So it's the same on well. You don't want to be too close to the well because you get pulled or hooked. And same principle on that map.
Alright, so you guys are playing a pharmacy, so Mercy probably has to be on fire here. You guys took point first. Where is Pichu?
What?
I don't know. Okay, so Adam has to be on top of Pichu right here, right? Because Pichu is going for the off angle behind the shields, right? So Adam therefore cannot be pocketing somebody else. Pichu is pocketing. So Tab, I think, overextends here with solid. But Fake, you're playing too far back, right? So if both your tanks could have gotten here, then Fake, you 100% could have gotten here too, right? Because there's no Lucy on your teams, there's no way you got left behind by speed or anything like that, right?
Wait, where am I? I'm on the stairs, right?
Yeah, so like Solid's already dead. Yeah, because they have no like real threat to you, right? Like everyone is here. Like there's no problem if you're playing like closer to them at all. Because the moment like they go around this corner to swing, they cut your LOS, right? So you need to push up with them. Like playing stacked on your tanks until you're sure about what the enemy is running is really important. Especially because you don't know they have double shield.
I'd say play with the Kree Sping too, and it's like if things go wrong, you have like the power to hide behind. And you just literally behind your tanks. If they swing, you just like 2 steps, you're like helping your tanks again.
Alright.
So it's really like quite important that in double shield you mind that your tanks will be walking through shields that might not necessarily break, right? And so when that's the case, you have to play closer to your tanks than you normally would, right? That's like double shield killed Ana because Ana got zoned by shields all the time and she couldn't solo break them, right? Also killed Ryan because he had to cut LOS when going through, right? So you have to play close. So in this case, both your tanks extended, but you didn't, and so they kind of overextended and died, but you also kind of weren't there to heal them.
Okay.
And Pichu this whole time was out of the fight, and I don't think he contributed any damage there because he's 24% to ulti, which is like 1 rocket into a 6-man comp, right? And that was probably because Adam wasn't on him, but Pichu, you also went like the long way around and never got there, so you had to tell your team either play slower so you can get in a position to do damage or something, right? And you want to probably get out of there.
Get him, Envy.
So if you're playing the Kree in a double shield, you probably like could off angle a little bit on them, which is fine, or you can fan to break shields. Doesn't really matter so much anymore because the shield nerfs. Yeah, like Solid here is for 2 shields, so he doesn't get healed, he dies, right?
Yeah.
I think also can you check the fight again in Envy perspective? So I think I remember this. Like I think Envy you switch targets a bit too much sometimes. Let's see.
My aim was bad.
Because you were shooting Arista and she was almost dead, and then you left her or something, and then you try and kill the Ashe and Ashe killed you. It's a bit further away, I think. Here, it's fine, it's fine.
Nice.
I think you overextended into the backline too much there too, because you put yourself behind 2 shields, right? And you didn't play towards going off the ledge, which you probably could have if you wanted to extend through their shields. You could have fallen off after to get back to your team, but you just kept going deeper into their backline. Like there's no healing there for Fake at all, right? Because like you can see that Fake is looking at you, right? And if he'd come towards this way, you'd probably live, right?
I think I was actually, I don't remember, but I think I was watching that, and I don't know if I actually remember to push my push to talk key, but I was telling him to go towards the edge so I could heal him, and then he died to the Ashe.
So like it's okay to off angle, but like have an escape route and try not to go through both shields if you're going to use your roll. Because I don't think he had his roll. If he had rolled backwards and had it, like he would have loved to. So yeah, like you guys are fighting for a point that they own, and you've staggered yourselves pretty hard here. Adam is never, ever, ever on Pichu, so Adam, be on Pichu. Okay, so next fight, you know that you want to grab, and you know you need to get the grab online. So you want to play up. So what does Double Shield want? Just a question for everybody.
Double shield?
Distance and playing slow and
It
taking
also wants
resources
spots where
away.
their-
Yeah.
They also want spots where their shield can cover everything.
So if you know they want long sight lines, you would never want to play on the point. You'd want to play in the choke, right? You want to choke them out like right here, right? Because you don't want to give them space to break your shields. So you have a Pharah. So like immediately, you know, you want to take this space right here because this is a free barrage, right? And you want to get your grab online, so you want to play aggressive. So like I would put your Ryan like right up against the elephant or this room right here, right? But whichever ones, right? And you want like Fake able to see everybody and heal them. You want your Pharah above spamming. So like if you get your Zarya right here, she just right click until she gets her ulti, and then if you want, you can like back up a little bit into this space. You grab them like right where the elephant spot is essentially, right? And Pichu would ult into the grab from above, right? But you guys don't farm enough between fights. This is something like that just happens a lot in Platinum, right? You guys just charge ult slower, and like a lot of it is not necessarily mechanics. It's just like willingness to play a certain way more aggressively to charge ultimate, right? Because like every single one of you should constantly be thinking, hey, how do I get my ult online, right? And so that's done by playing up. So like knowing that their comp wants space and your comp doesn't, you have to consciously make this choice to play up. Not because you have a barrage coming, but because this is the strength of your comp versus theirs, right? Something for Solid from a shot calling perspective, and the rest of you to remind him.
Yep.
So Tab could play a little bit more up. Like I would probably play Tab like right here, you know, like aggressive. Because you're not going to get as much damage from this distance as Zarya as you would like playing in their base, right? Because like Tab, you have 10% to your ult here, and you are not like trying to charge it at all, right? Like right there, you 100% charge it. And like it's very hard to bully your way past a Ryan with 2 shields that you have to deploy, right? You can't just flick your shield like you would if you were a Reinhardt, right? So like if your Ryan has Shatter, you want to hold this space. Like every single ultimate in your comp wants you to hold that space, right? Like even High Noon, right? Like if you hold them there and you start losing the space, then you can High Noon from here, so they're caught out, right? But you guys gave it for free, you know? Like nothing happened to force you guys back, and yet Tab, you pressed S, Solid is pressing S, like everyone is backing. But why? Right? Because you're playing into their comp, not yours, right? So you gave space, and then Envy died because there's no shield for him because you guys gave space, right? But you think he dies to the Ashe if you're pushed like right up in their face? 100% he never dies, right? And I think this is like a compositional issue. I don't think it's like necessarily a positional issue from him. Because like right now, neither of your tanks are able to swing or beam anybody in this kind of space, right? So like, it doesn't matter how your bubble usage is, it doesn't matter anything, right? Like you guys are already down a player before the fight starts and in a really bad position that you have to use ults to bail yourself out with. So you probably don't want to use Nano there. And you definitely could have wiped them, just with like a shatter if you held close, 100%.
Yeah, I think the Nano was, it was just too late to be helpful.
That might have been a shot calling fault on me too.
I don't think
might have
so.
been
I
calling
think
debated.
on that one I just added it to the fight and there was no real reason to.
Okay. No, not the Nano. I mean
Right.
the backing up like that. I might have been calling to bait that in, like bait them through the arches, which was a bad call, I guess.
You only bait them through when you have the grab and you're going to use it 100%, right?
Yeah.
But like,
It's like-
way before you backed. Sorry, Laura.
You don't really use Nano, for example, grab Dragon or grab Barrage, because that's enough to just clear the team, like wipe the enemy team.
Right, yeah.
So never have to Nano like in a grab Dragon or in a grab Barrage. If it's just a grab with your Ran swinging, then you can Nano, I guess, because 2 Ls.
I think that's something I did several times during the scrim was I kept nanoing into grabs when we had other ults that would go with it.
Yeah.
For the record, in the history of Overwatch,
I mean, Barrage is like 3,000 damage by itself.
Like grab Barrage is fine, don't use Nano. If it's just a grab, a Ran swing, then I would agree, Nano is fine there. But if it's a combo grab Dragon, grab Barrage, don't need a Nano. It would be nice for your Ran to have it next fight.
Okay. So something I'd like to point out to you guys as a team, right? In the history of Overwatch, there's never been the need to use more than 2 of any ult in the game to wipe an enemy team in anywhere that is not a golden zone, right? So golden zone is the only time where, like rule of thumb for you guys, where you need more than 2 ultimates to win a fight, right? So best example is grab Dragon, grab with Nano Ryan, even like Electric Cowboy, which is arguably one of like the worst ult combinations in the game. Like any 2 ultimates in the game can, when combined or used well, wipe a team. But 3 is always overkill, right? Like even EMP Shatter, you don't go like EMP Shatter Bomb. It's EMP Bomb or EMP Shatter, right?
You said that's in the golden zone? You only need 2? Is that what you said?
No. Anywhere that's not a golden zone, you only need 2. In a golden zone, you need more than 2. Rule of thumb, always remember it. Okay?
I don't think I know what golden zone is then. I'm just...
Okay, so I actually don't think you were there for this. This was before your time, when you had different tanks. Okay, so Golden Zone is on payload maps. Or actually, someone else should explain this.
I think I understand.
I can explain it.
Okay, Tad.
Go for it, Tab.
It's like when you can, like, especially on like payload maps, when you can contest the cart from an off angle or somewhere that's a lot safer, and they just have to like push you out of that safe spot, and it's a lot harder. Like King's Row 3rd is one of our golden zones where we can pretty much use the corner and contest cart, and they have to come around the corner to do anything to us. And that's like, you know, if they don't, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I got you. I didn't understand it. I thought it meant the last spot where it's like a choke or it has spawn advantage.
To the coaches, have you seen anybody golden zone Gibraltar underneath on first point?
I mean, remember we talked, there's 2 spots on every payload point, right? So like every payload map has 3 points for UCAP. There's 2 spots on every single payload point where the cart gets stuck. I don't care what map you throw at me, I can give you 2 examples of 2 spots where the payload will always get stuck, right?
Well, they were talking about, like, especially with the double shield comp, is like where that mega is on first point. You could just stay in there and contest indefinitely because you can contest through May walls and everything.
There are 2 spots. There's always 1 choke point on payload maps, right? And then there's 1 point right before it caps where you have spawn advantage, right? Those 2 things are pseudo golden zones, right? So you want to get the payload stuck in those 2 specific spots on every map. Can we do like a brushing up of golden zones after this? Probably a good idea, right, Laura?
Yeah.
Just
very
to
good
go through
idea.
every map and like just have everyone else identify what it is, just so we know. Because I don't think Envy was here for this either, honestly.
I wasn't.
But it's like really important to know for team play and even for ladder play, any kind of payload map, hybrid map. So Tab is really, really far up, and Solid is really, really far back, right?
I heard you talking about ults, so
Okay, your McCree is high nooning in front of a window without a shield or a bubble. I'm very concerned. Really, really sketchy Bob right there. So that off angle is actually good. Like, if you're not getting contested on it, like, keep playing it, right? You don't have to, like, roll back to contest the Sigma here. I'd probably just keep pushing from the side, because you could probably bait the Echo into 1v1ing you right there, right? So Solid. You want to press yourself up against the pillar, right? And then cleave the corner. Because right now, you're letting yourself get shield broken for no reason against, like, bongos, and it's not really going to work out for you, right? So you have to press yourself up when there's damage boost going on, or just against double shield in general, because it's very hard for double shield to bully their way past Orion who's not peeking. So best example of this is on Hanamura Choke. When you guys are playing double shield on the attacking side, you always have trouble bullying your way past the Orion who's not peeking, right? Because you don't want to go past him and then get cleaved by his hammer, but you can't kill him or break your shield because he's not peeking, right? So you want to force the same scenario here by pressing yourself up against the pillar, and then Tad plays against the opposite pillar. So when the Sigma engages on Solid is hitting him in the face, and Tad is beating him from the side, right? Like, force it to be a 2v1 because you guys are playing it, right? Don't play into them, because what you're doing right now is giving them sightlines, and what they want is sightlines, right? So Pichu has to always look for their hit scan first, right? So when we talked about playing a pharmacy versus a hit scan, you always have to find their hit scan, eat yourself on top of their head, double shot them, camp the body if there's a mercy, and then you can deal damage to the team, right? But right now, Pichu, you're trying too hard to get into their backline to fight a Baptiste, right? But he's not the hit scan you're concerned with. It should be Ash who's getting pocketed by a mercy, but remember you can beam through the mercy pocket by getting on his head and killing him, right? Like, he's not gonna kill you, you're gonna kill him. So misplay here. Really big play by Solid to equalize. Don't charge, right? They're on the ground, you just want to swing, because the moment you charge, you leave yourself open to getting CC'd, right? Which cancels your entire play. And then you die, right? And also, like, you're able to do more overall damage if you are swinging, because they're all on the floor in front of you, and because they changed the CC timer of Earthshatter, they're on the ground for less time, so you want to swing on them instead, right? And let your team, like, follow up with damage, because if you leave them there, like, Fake might be able to get an anti, Envy might be able to hit 1 or 2 of them, like, finish them off, right? And it makes it easier on Tab as well if you're not moving them, right? So then you can right-click them on the ground for more burst damage. So you're doing the Tab thing, charging your Shatter, just no go. That was a
rude.
So yeah, you guys kind of got run over once you lost your main tank. Happens.
Sorry.
It's okay. Mistakes happen.
God knows Tab did that like 50 times in the beginning when he was run. We don't talk about that, he's a sorry
Almost
player now.
every single VOD review was Tab don't charge.
I know not to charge. I already know how to hear it when I did that.
Okay, so right here, Pichu. This Ashe is going to go uncontested for as long as you don't contest her. But it's your job, right? So you're in the wrong spot, right?
Adaptive circuits engaged. Reinhardt.
So you guys actually win this, but I don't think you guys played it right. I think it was just a matter of them not having a Ryan ulti, not like ulting properly, but Like, you can't, like, not contest high ground. Like, an Ashe Mercy is, like, the same thing as leaving a Widow uncontested, right? Especially because your team is in a position where they're going to turn their back on the Ashe, right? When you go that way, and the Ashe is on the opposite side high ground, and your team's facing into point, that Ashe, if she's actually, like, you know, a decent player, which she's not, because you saw her bob up here earlier, right? She gets free sightlines into your healers, your squishies, everybody, right? So you can't, like, leave her here. And going this way in general is okay, right? But you want to, like, hug the pillar snugger and then just leave. And in the Rein v Rein, if your Kree, like, plays right on top of your Rein, you just watch for the bubbles, right? You wait until they've used the projected on the Rein, and then you just flash over his shield, and then you murder him, you know? And you just have to fan, and it'll be fine. I want you guys to win because you meant to win, not because the enemy team misplayed, right? Okay, so right here, you guys went top and...
Nope, we went main.
Okay.
I was so confused, you guys just fell off.
We have a sim, we play point.
Did you guys use your TP at all?
No.
No.
Nope.
Right, so from spawn, you want to TP to right here, probably, because you want to get to point first, and then you want to rotate into the point. Why do you want to be in the point? And on top.
Set up turrets and make people play into you.
Exactly, right. So, what happened was you guys didn't get to point first, because you didn't use your TP, right? And then you lose. And because you didn't get set up, your Symmetra is effectively, you know, useless, right? So, Tab, you're really committing right there. I'm surprised they don't kill you because you're kind of out of position. If you had personal, it's fine. If you don't have personal, I don't think it's okay. Right? Because if you get slapped, anti-ed anything, then you're fucked, right?
I usually don't go aggro unless I have personal.
Okay, so you're set up in point here, which is fine, but remember they're playing a Doomfist, so it's very easy for him to get a pick by just punching in, so you have to, like, be really careful about your positioning. No backs to walls and stuff like that. Get into the point. Pichu, you always want to be ramping up damage on the enemy right here, right? Because you're not charged enough. Right? Like, you're not charged until, like, the end of the fight, but you have to be charged before they even come in, right? Like, when they're poking on the corner. Because, like, your effective damage is what carries the team with the symmetric comp, right? So, let's talk about why you guys lost this fight and why you could have won this fight. So you lost Fake in the first 3 seconds of the fight, right? Could you have won, still?
When I died, was I on the wrong side, or was it just...
The
Oh, I got
Doomfist.
Doomfist, that's what
Yeah.
happened, okay.
Okay. So, tell me, could you have won this fight, though? Flash.
We have Dragon and Grab, so I don't see why not.
Yeah. So you guys are like 2 seconds off of Dragon and Grab, but you guys are all backed on this side, right? When you lose your heals, what do you have to do?
Play more aggressive.
More aggressive.
Oh, more aggressive. Really?
Well, you don't have sustain, right? Because heals are what gives
Play for
sustain.
quick pick.
So you have to play more aggressive to make up for your disadvantage, right? So the reason being, like, if you guys are 6-on-6, it's just whoever fucks up first, right? But if you are 6-on-5 and you're the 5 with no healer, you're just gonna die to chip damage, you're gonna die to coalescence. You have to engage on them so you get your ult online instantly, right? Because you won first fight, you're at an ult advantage, right? Like, look at how many ults are online even though you're losing right now versus them, right? They have a Creole and they have a coalescence going, right? You guys have 3, almost 4, almost 5 even, right? So I would say, like, this is a winnable fight if you guys actually aggress instead of backing off, right? Because you back off, you all die to coalescence. You press W, you probably get a shatter off or, like, a grab or a dragon, you know? but you lost because you backed. And it's pretty straightforward that, like, you guys shouldn't have lost, right? Even with fake dying.
So if that happens, is it wise to, like, try to commit ultimate to win it?
If you can wipe them, but if you grab all of them, you know that he doesn't have beat drop. Like, absolutely he doesn't have beat drop, right? Because they lost first fight.
Yeah.
So, like, it is wise to grab dragon there. If you can safely get your dragon off with the grab, I would 100% do it, like, every single time.
And just to be clear for the team, if I were to be shot calling, just call it out, grab dragon. That's cool.
Yeah, like, you have to be like, even before the fight started, you have to look at your ults and be like, okay, we're gonna get grab dragon online. Try our hardest to, like, get it online before the fight, right? Because sometimes if you bring it up during the fight, it's too late. She had grab dragon, and then this was the nano being used again, right? So a little bit overkill. For sure, overkill actually, but...
Yeah, it was,
So...
I remember this one. So,
now you are Free and Hanzo. Where do you want to fight? Take a guess, as a team. Where do you want to fight?
Yeah, poke early, I think.
On the right side of
Right
point,
side
so
of
that
point, yeah.
Hanzo and McCree can stay on the bridge.
I'd probably say you fight the choke, like right here. Because your Hanzo is high ground and you can fire downwards, and it's free space, so you're not playing to the enemy doom, right? Because where is he going to punch you into a wall here, right? Like, at best, he punches one of your tanks into this wall, right? Like, it's really whatever. So if they go top, you obviously, like, can rotate to, like, this side, so your Hanzo and your Kree can shoot, and then back into the point after, or whatever, right? But, like, presumably they're going to come main, because their comp doesn't really benefit from coming top at all, right? They're Kree and Doom. So, like, the only one that benefits from going top is Kree, right? So theoretically, they should come main. Like, if I was your shot caller, I'd be looking at their comp and being like, they should probably come main, so we have to fight them in main, because that actually benefits us, right? Because Envy will sit up here, and he, like, every time the enemy Rhine drops a shield, we'll get a headshot on the enemy Rhine, or someone behind it, right? And your Kree can play, like, here, or to the side of the gate to stun the Rhine, right, for a free shatter, right? Like, there's a lot you can do with the gate, and your Ana can, like, sit pretty much for free, really safe, right, to heal everybody wherever she wants, right? So play it to your team's advantage, to your strength, right? Pretty much all VOD reviews go like this. Play to your team's strength because you're not doing it. I think one thing you guys as a team need to work on is understanding what your compositions do and what the enemy composition does, and then how to take advantage, right? So, like, right here, their comp makes no sense when they go top, because what is their team going to do with it, right? So you're playing in the open, which is fine. I think Solid is getting bullied, but not healed. Maybe more heals on Solid pick. Everyone's kind of everywhere right now. I'm not really sure
Yeah, that's the
what's
problem
going
I was
on.
having, is Solid one on the outside, and so I was just couldn't decide on which way I needed to go. Everybody was going every which way.
So you have to communicate how you guys want to rotate. So if they come main, we're going to play main. If they come top, we're going to go to point, everyone to point, right? Like, just communicate ahead of time. Like, you have to, before the fight, know this. You can't, like, mid-fight do it. And even in the mid-fight, you have to communicate everyone B point, right? But you can see, like, why being disorganized is probably not so good. She has heavy drop on the enemy team, I guess, but still win? Okay. I don't really know. I don't think they're very good.
It's because they didn't run into us when they beat dropped.
Probably. But they had Solid shattered on the ground, right? And yeah, they didn't kill him because they were too busy rushing to go to points, so that's their misplay, right? Because you kill the enemy main tank, you roll over the enemy team easy, right? Because there's no way without a B-trap on your side that you live like that on the ground, right? Like, I don't care if Pick has, like, anti-nade on you, and, like, you're getting ant and you have a bubble, like, they should be able to burn you. Just like a quick fan.
Oh, we did beat that one.
Okay, so before we do other maps, let's go over golden zones real quick. So, team browser create. Yeah. Not in control escort, so we'll talk about literally every random escort hybrid in here, just like whatever one it happens to be, right? They're all the same. It's gonna give me Blizzard World, which is fine because you guys play it all the time. Okay, so Blizzard World is a hybrid point which resembles King's Row because they're both hybrid maps, right? So obviously after first point King's Row unlocks, if you're the attacking side or the defending side, there's always an archway where the payload gets stuck, right? This happens on pretty much like every hybrid map, so the best examples of this are this archway on King's Row, this archway on Blizzard World, right? Like, if you think back to any matchmaking game you played on this map, right? The payload gets stuck in one of two places on this map and King's, right? So, the archway, right after the first point unlocks, both maps are the same, right? And the other one is right before the point is about to cap, so the payload gets stuck, like, somewhere, like, around here. Right? Because... So can we identify why these two spots are places where payload will always get stuck? Okay, why this one?
There is my guess.
There's walls in 3 directions above you and on both sides.
It's a choke, right?
It's a choke.
And because the payload on hybrid maps always takes time to come out, it gives the defending team time to regroup to contest the space if they didn't stagger first, right? So if everyone got good spawn, which is why it's extremely important, take notes in your head about this, you must always die before the second tick on hybrid maps to get the good spawn. Okay?
Before second tick? Okay.
Before second tick, you're guaranteed to get good spawn. Okay? You die after second tick, there's no guarantee you get good spawn. Depends on if your team's touching the point or not, right? But you're probably gonna get shit spawn. And that stops your team from contesting a 6, right? So, like, it's extremely important to pick and choose your battles, right? Like, this is an aspect that people don't talk about in lower level team play, right? But, like, it's important for you guys to know this. So, if you are going to lose the fight, let's say you lose your Ryan and your Zarya, and there's still 6, you guys should probably just die on the point before the second tick, right? Or back off, if you can safely back off, right? Because then that guarantees that you will get to fight for the archway, right? On the defending side. If you don't, then what happens if, let's say, sorry Adam, your Lucio staggers himself, right? Maybe not your Lucio, your Zenyatta staggers himself, right? And he ends up with a shit spawn, like, all the way back there, right? You will never have a 6-man contest for this archway, so if you fight here, you'll get rolled over, right? So you have to give it up, right? So you gave up one of your 2 defending positions, just by, like, not considering your spawns. Yes, Faith? No, Faith?
Is there anything to having a faster hero like, say, Tracer or maybe Soldier, if you can stall a point just a bit longer, so that somebody like Zen gets a short spawn and you kind of catch up to them? Or is that not something we should really worry about?
I don't think you should worry about it. Too complicated.
I got a question for you. So, this is obviously like a huge map advantage right now.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were saying, you know, we're not going to get a 6v6. What is it? I mean, wouldn't it still be worth taking the fight here, even 5v6? Because, like, it's such a map advantage. If they don't press on us quickly, like, you know, you might have time for that 6 to get back.
Maybe. It depends on if you have ultimates, depends on a bunch of things, right? Like, let's say no ultimates were involved, I would never take a 5v6. If there are ultimates involved, and I think I can beat them, probably. But
I saw one really cool thing here where, like, one of the DPS players for one of the pro teams flanked through the, I guess, to your left here on defense. Yeah, they flanked through there, so the whole enemy team turned and looked at him, and that actually gave the 6 time to get back.
I think that, like, if you held first, and you didn't run all your LTs holding first, right? Then you have some ultimates in your bank here, and you can stall out the timer with ultimates, yeah. You want, on payload maps, to take as many fights as possible. That's why I'm trying to emphasize to you guys that it's important to die when you're supposed to die, right? And live when you're supposed to live. So don't stagger yourself, right? And die on the point or the payload all the time, right? You always want to be dying on the payload. so that you can stall the progress and the timer, right?
We run Lucio on our payload maps, don't we? Except for King's Row defense.
Yeah, mostly. Well, actually, on the defending side, it's not really. Because Blizzard World, you guys play Zen too. I just like the shield break on the defending side, because you don't have to move very much. You just set up in a choke, and then you sit, right?
Well, yeah, especially first point, I guess, since it's hybrid, really, not full payload.
Okay, so, pretty much you want as many fights as possible. So the only way to guarantee as many fights as possible is to fight the 2 points on every single, like, third of the map. What I mean by that is, so King's Row, it's the archway, and then right before the second point caps, right? And then it's the first corner, and then it's right before the third point caps, right? So on this map, for example, right, once the payload has, like, come out, it's this, and then it's, like, here, right? And I don't have to tell you where these golden zones are, because you'll know from all your competitive experience that the payload always seems to get stuck in specific spots. You never think about why, probably, right? But think about where it is now. Where does it always get stuck? On Blizzard World, right here. Where? Third point.
Right at the first corner or the second corner, and then right at the end.
Yeah, so like around here, right? And then here. Right?
So the only thing I understand about the Y is spawn advantage. Is the other Y, you said choke. Is it because they can't spread out? Like once they get through the choke, they can't spread out. Like I'm just a little confused about why the choke. I get that it works. I understand that, but I don't get the why of why that choke point works. Because there's still a left, right, and center that you can go in every map.
Okay,
but I never understood why that works.
Let's take an example. This is the choke area, right? So the payload always gets stuck like right around between here to here, right? So like right where the sticky is. So if you're the attacking team, right? Because most teams go together, right? Into an area like this. Your Rhine shield is taking damage from potentially up there, the Ana's back there, right? Like there's a lot more space to be held by the defending team and angles to like be attacked by, right? Like it's very threatening. And the defending team has a lot more cover than you, right? So you're forcing them into an area that they have to aggress into, right? As the defenders
forcing them
towards
into a kill box. Isn't that what a kill box is?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I think I understand now.
So like a better example of the choke would be probably first point Blizzard World, like in that archway. It's a much tougher choke to break, right? Because like how do you get through this choke when like half your team has no space to stand, right? Like your DPS are just trying to make something happen, right? While their Ana gets to sit for free behind this pillar like way back here uncontested. There's no way for your DPS to do anything. So like you force them on really long, inefficient flank routes, right? Or your team has to make like a really long, shitty rotation that's easily countered, right? That's why like chokes and I guess like right before it caps with the spawn advantage, right? Are very hard to break without what, guys?
Without ults.
The ultimates, the 3 ultimates.
Yeah, so minimum of 3 ultimates to break a choke, right? And I mean like really decent ultimates. I don't mean like Brig Rally, which is kind of a shitty ultimate as far as things go, right?
Is that 3 ultimates on attacking or defending?
On attack. Because it costs less on defense to defend this area as well, or to defend like in general, like
just
the golden
kill
zone.
or to win on defense, right? That's the idea.
Well, you got spawn advantage, so trading is good for you.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you don't need to wipe. You don't need to wipe the team to win on defense.
So if the attacking team has 3 ultimates, you only need maybe 1 or 2, depending on what it is, to hold, right? Because like so long as your ultimate stalls out enough time for your team to kind of like the 10 steps of act out of spawn, you're kind of like going to win the fight, right? So that's why it's very, very hard to break these. So in terms of fight planning, this is really important, Solid, now that you're the fight planner, for you to understand that like you need to stockpile ultimates going up to here. You can't like, I don't know, burn like 6 ultimates right here and have the team come out to recontest you right here, because you will 100% lose, right? Like you don't win in a dry fight when their respawns are faster than yours by a significant margin, right?
Yeah.
So you have to fight plan accordingly, which adds like another bit of depth and complexity to fight planning. So we're going to go to King's Row real quick and talk about that and why like we always emphasize pushing up.
So is it okay to call out, like, 'cause I do it a lot in comp games, like, hey, just use your ult to get 1 or 2 kills. That's all we need. Like, is that an okay call out, or do you need something specific?
Well, your team, as a team, understands what a golden zone is, right? So, like, everyone here knows that they have to stockpile ultimates before going in. So something you'd call out to your team is, let's go in and either dry fight, or use like a really fast charging disposable ultimate to bait ultimates from the enemy team. So what I mean by this is, let's say 3rd point Kings, right? You are the attacking side and you know they have a bunch of ultimates. What can you do? Let's talk about dry fighting or baiting ultimates. How can you do this, guys?
Go really aggressive on them.
Super fucking aggressive.
So you play really aggressive and then their healers panic and they throw the nano boost at the Rhine. Right? Or the DPS is like, I need to high noon to take pressure off my team, right? Like, immediately you've won because you haven't used anything, but you played really aggressive and you still baited the ultimate, right? Because you have to. If you're not going to ult, you have to play aggressive. So that's good, right? Another thing you can do is you can commit, like, a really shitty ultimate, right? It's like, or a really fast building ultimate. Because I'd never call a nano shitty, right? But, like, if you can charge a nano boost in 45 seconds, you can go nano your Ryan to like 1, help him charge his shatter, and 2, pressure like 3 ultimates from the enemy team. So like, if I'm the enemy Zarya, and I see the enemy Reinhardt nanoed and fucking up my Ryan, right, and my Ana doesn't have nano boost, we're playing a Moira for some reason, right, I'm gonna grab him, and then my Hanzo's gonna see the grab, and then he's gonna dragon, right, and immediately you just baited out grab dragon from the enemy team, which would have shut down your whole push, right? And the next fight, you guys as a team come back in, right, and you wipe them because you grab dragon them, right? And your Ryan now has shatter from, swinging with the nano initially, and then you shatter them.
Nano again because I just got a ton of nano trying to heal through grab dragon, and then on the next fight.
So like, because this area lets you like spread out your team, you need like a series of ultimates, right? Like you might end up grab dragoning this side and then shattering that side, right? But pretty much golden zones offer like a lot of defensive positioning and typically good spawns, one or the other, or sometimes both, right? So you have to use more ultimates, you have to play smart about baiting ultimates or dry fighting when you need to, right? And identifying like win conditions is really important, right? So like, let's say you have like 6 ultimates, right? You could potentially have all 6 of your ultimates get shut down by 1 grab dragon, right? So you have to dry fight first, or use disposable ults first, right? To bait out this grab dragon before you can do your next push, right? Because it's really, really quite wasteful. If you go in with 6 ultimates, right, you lose because you got grab dragon and they came out of spawn and murdered you, right? So don't do that, essentially.
On attack.
So, yes, on attack. And on defense, be aware that like you have to maintain a good ult economy, right? Always be prepared. So if you haven't seen the ult in a while, you know they're either going to 6 ult this fight or they're going to dry fight, one or the other, right? So you have to save something. You can't just, also use all 6 your ults too. So identify to me on King's Row where my golden zones are.
Back a couple feet.
Okay.
To the left there is where the tank holds. Yeah.
Okay.
And then past this checkpoint. Yeah, you can't. I don't like playing there, but yeah, like right next corner, right here.
This
doesn't count.
No.
This
arch, yeah. The arch is in the corner right before they cap.
Yeah. So here, you wipe, so you don't have time to contest this corner, right? And then here. So the reason why you don't want that, even though it's kind of defensible, is because you wipe there, you don't have a chance to contest this, right? Your spawns don't work out. So like, it's an actual timing thing, right?
We had a huge timing issue with people playing like so passive, we'd never make it to that corner, and we'd have to contest like right before we got back to cart, and it'd be like so much open space that they just set up a kill box on us.
Alright, so why is it really important to take space on the attacking side right away?
Get staggers and force a later team fight.
So they can't golden zone you. You know how to golden zone them now, right? But in reverse, you don't want to get golden zoned, so you have to avoid that by taking space, right? So, like, you just cap first point, right? You know they want this archway from you. You know they want to wipe you so that you have to fight this archway constantly, right? So, what do? You push up because you won the fight as far up as, like, here, at the very least, right? Because what does it do?
They can't contest cart and get it stuck in golden zone.
Exactly, right? So, they can't get it stuck. It forces them to either fight here or give it up and have only one fight there, right? But you know what happens when you wipe them here, right? If you wipe them here, they're not going to get a full 6-man recontest here, right?
Yeah,
So,
you pushing up and you keep pushing, right? Past
yeah.
You keep going, you keep going.
You keep going and going and going, right? You force them back,
Yeah, right there.
right? So you need to, like, understand aggression and space taking, because this is, like, very much a tanking thing, right? Because it's your tanks that are leading, so, like, it's important you understand golden zones and stuff like that so that you can push better on payload maps, right? Like, I don't want to see your, like, tanks pushing up once you've taken the archway to, like, right here and then deciding we're gonna stop right here, right? Because you just wipe them, like, somewhere around here, right? And then you, for some reason, decide, I want to stop right here. They're in spawn, they're respawning, push up, right? Like, come here, and, like, if you get pushed back, so be it, right? But, like, you make them fight for every inch of space once they respawn, right? Because you have it for free. Make them fight for it, make them ult for it, right? Like, plan better, right? So yes, golden zones on the attack and defense. Identify them on every map before you start, and then play accordingly, okay?
So, I have a question about that then. With golden zones and pushing up, specifically with pushing up being the attack team, do you commit ults if you're pushing up to basically give your payload free push? Should you commit ults or just no? Ults are only for team fights. Is that like the rule?
Kill them.
No, you can ult.
Because I used it in competitive. Like yesterday, I was Zarya. I grabbed 3 people. In this map, I grabbed 3 people so that we could push up to this point. It worked. But I don't know if that's what I'm supposed to do.
Okay, so if I was pushed up right here, and my team had grab or grab dragon, I would 100% grab dragon, send them back to spawn. You guarantee that you cap, right? You always want to guarantee you cap.
I do that shit all the time.
For a guaranteed cap. This was to push us past the golden zone. So we moved at the arches, and I grabbed 3 people. It pushed us past the arches, and it got us up to the second corner. It got us up to this corner that you're at right now, just by me grabbing and killing 3 squishies.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah, if it's squishies and you know you can secure the kills, just do it.
Okay. Because, see, they were, like, if you go a little bit further by the mailbox, the red mailbox, no, back to the arches. So I grabbed here, right about there, grabbed there, killed 3, and then we were able to free push all the way to the next point.
I want you guys to think about every golden zone as its own individual point. So that means on this map, there's first point, there's arch, there's 1 second caps, and then there's between second and third corner, and then there's third, right? So, like, this map has, like, 6 points altogether, right? I want you to think of every individual, like, portion of the map as a point you have to secure, right? So if you have to ult to take it, then you do. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes.
For support ults, since we're a little bit autonomous on using those, if we're on a first gold, since golden zones are very valuable, the first one here, if we know they have an ult advantage coming in, let's say they have a shatter visor and then like pulse bomb or something like that, maybe another support ult, and I have nano, and we have like 50% to our next closest ultimate on our side, do I want to put a nano in to see if we can hold the first golden zone, or do I not use it and save it for the second golden zone? So
I think Laura said before you want a nano every fight, and the reason being is it charges so fast that you're actually losing value by not nanoing every fight. Barring grab dragon fights and shit like that, right? Like if your fight is already won, you obviously want to use it. But by nanoing, like, as frequently as possible, you're baiting ultimates from the enemy team, right? So, like, if I was a defending team and I was defending Ana, right, and I know they have 5 ultimates coming up here, I actually want to nano, because then that's going to force 2 or 3 ultimates from them, right? Because, like, you see a nano ride. Yeah.
So they have less to use in the next golden zone.
Mm-hmm. And it buys more time for your team to farm. Yeah. So, like, you do want it.
Like, honestly, Nana is like one of the fastest ults, like charging wise, if you're decent Ana. So like, you just use every fight you can, and worst case scenario, they use ults and you lose the fight anyway, but you use ults, so it's like a good scenario actually. It's like win-win actually. There's no losing if you use it. If you
so
win the
that's
fight
something
and you
we-
don't have to use it, then you can keep it. Because you don't want to waste it, but you can use it.
So with
Just
that
use
in
everything.
mind, then, if they initiate with a nano, do we want to try to actively try not to use our ults and just expend CC abilities on it?
Well, if you need to ulti match, you ulti match, right? Like, you just play as necessary.
Yep.
Okay.